Hello and welcome back. We are about to get on the way in towards our second map. It's 00Nation's pick. It's Anubis, but they need a strong response because Nuke wasn't too pretty.
No, that's one way to put it. Very quick mid-play coming in by 00Nation as well. This is a change in pace in comparison to what we've seen from them on that T side of Nuke, and I'm liking it. Let's see though, because there's still dual Berettas to overcome as they make their way in towards this A bomb site. It's 2 for VSM. Fluxo, at least for a moment, kept the numbers equal, but it shifted back again into the 2-on-2. Fluxo somehow managing to get a solid response to what looked like a horrid start on mid, and now flipping it on its head. It's all left on Fluxo. Looks like History should be able to spot him as he makes his way around. Heavily committed to the angle, though. Left himself exposed, and Fluxo hitting some nice shots. Has very likely at least achieved the bomb plant here, alongside a bit of time to try and reposition for this after plant.
Oh yeah, bomb goes down. I mean, that's the positive thing already. Woody, hey, you'll find the kill. Oh my god, for Fluxo. That was a round which looked dead set in their favor. Looked like it was locked in. And then it nearly crumbled apart from beneath them, right from the floor opening up. Thankfully, the IGL stepping up and Woody putting things back in their place. 2 kills to his Snape. And Fluxo kick start their opponent's map pick relatively confidently. Of course, they finished off on Nuke really, really well. I mean, what a solid performance on them. And now we look towards Anubis, and if they can continue this sort of momentum, continue trucking over, we could already potentially start to kind of make comparisons and arguments about this being maybe a little bit of a massacre.
Well, if it goes like map 1, yeah, I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. Even if it does end up being a 2-0, I want more fight from 00Nation here, because apart from the early rounds of Nuke, they weren't giving us too much of a scrappy fight at all. History aggressive alongside Woody up on A. Find the entire D team. They actually have Phelps aggressive through canals as well. This is just all around a crazy push with these weaker weapons from Fluxo, considering what they were expecting 00Nation to have. A 2-on-3 is not a terrible position either now that they've gotten this A bomb site. The problem is an aggressive position for Dumao does not pay off. Hoping to get away with a kill or two. Falls, leaving Fluxo alone now on the bomb site. Pinned in behind a smoke and a pretty difficult 1v2. Already having achieved the first though. I was going to say hopes are still in play, but VSM knew he was playing somewhere around that smoke, just pushed up and forced the issue, which was a very risky play considering his health, actually.
Yeah, VSM. Great round from him. I got to say, I mean, it's such a confident play to be taking those sort of fights in that sort of position. Of course, what's on the line? But Fluxo, even though it's a little bit messy, a little bit scrappy, they're still finding success. And that's what matters most. Get rounds on the board, get, you know, a little bit of momentum started early doors. That's all that matters. And so far, so good. I gotta say, for 00Nation, they're in a position where once again now, I think buying into this, it's risky, but I can see why they go for it. They've got a bomb plant, they've got money to work with, 4 to 5 players are a rifle, so I can understand the investment here, just because that bomb plant gives them a little bit of extra cash on hand. But Phelps, good position, looking for the first as well, but he won't find it. Cold Zero drop him.
Yeah, just about getting away. 28 health. The weaker weapons still in play, so it's not all over for Fluxo by any means, but they need one of these aggressive plays to pay off, and Woody is in a very horrible position, honestly. No way of escaping in that case. He needed his teammates to find success elsewhere, and that's exactly what's going to happen, forcing the A push now for 00Nation. Problem is, they're already pretty heavily damaged. There's utility in play, including a molly that's slowing them on this push, and a smoke as well. Even 2 players on the bomb site waiting and ready. It's going to be an absolute... Well, I can't say that word. We'll say mow down. I was going to say something that started with S and then show. As Coldzera is left alone, having found the early success for them, low health, he was hoping his teammates to be able to do a little bit more and that he could just lurk on the extremities, causing some issues, and unfortunately that's not the case. He's got to be the hero of the round, and it's not going to happen. 3-0 for Fluxo, off to again a fantastic start here on Anubis, and you've got to be worried now.
I gotta say, right now, so far, Fluxo in a position to definitely walk away with this series. I mean, already on the CT side of Ancient, we're seeing a dominant display being set up. We're seeing Fluxo happy to take engagements, take map control. They know they've got a good setup as well. 00Nation, I think it may be in a little bit of in a race up their sleeves or a risk to go in towards this map pick. And so far, it's not paying off. Eco for them in towards round number 4, and Fluxo, a very good opportunity and probably a necessity that they get themselves up to a 4-0 star. They can't be losing out to the Pistols. That's where maybe the wind in the sails would slightly change.
Ooh. Whoa, okay. Pistol's actually finding some success though with, again, this aggression just being relentless from Fluxo. And this time it's going to heavily backfire because they've conditioned 00Nation to expect it over these past few rounds. So they waited. Yeah. No weapons recovered yet, but they have the 4-on-2. Spotting both final players in towards middle as well. Confirms that bomb's free to go wherever the hell it wants. And the choice is B. Understandably so, especially with Lao being so forward now. Deep control back towards the spawn. You've just got to see both rifles being saved at this point. And, well, almost out of nowhere, 00Nation are perhaps gifted this round, I've got to say. And gifted an opportunity now to get themselves some sort of footing into this map early on, which is necessary.
I mean, that's a round in which, you know, 00Nation, they'll be absolutely loving to have that in their favor. Fluxo never should have fallen flat there. And that's also a showing. We're looking at that Fluxo side, and obviously there's confidence flowing through their veins. They're feeling it. They're loving life in the server, and now they've fallen really, really flat off the back of overextending, overconfident plays that have actually been really costly towards them. And Woody might not survive either. We'll get a dollar on the way out. So at the very least, keeping things expensive. 00Nation, they walk away with first round on the board off the back of a more than minimal investment. So credit to them. They didn't give up in towards that round, but I think that's not more of a case of 00Nation doing something fantastic, but Fluxo really doing something super costly. They overextended. That's come back to bite them. And now, of course, deficit only down to 2, but a full buy out for 00Nation. This is the round that matters. But the worrying thing, Dean, look at the buy. I mean, VSM's only got a Deagle. Nicosi's only got a FAMAS. It's not exactly a nice buy.
No. The utility is also severely lacking, so it's a big opportunity for 00Nation. Likely if they take this to even things up, maybe even get a bit of a lead going early T side, which would be fantastic to see. Bit of a trade and damage early on. Phelps taking the brunt of it, but it was dealt out towards Taco and NQZ as well. And a much slower approach from 00Nation, and well, they're loving it. They've got full control in towards canals. They can pincer if they want around towards B. Having not really found anyone pushed up either aggressive out towards main. They've got someone waiting there. That's Lado. And it looks like that might be the eventual play, but the bomb for now still hanging back. They're keeping their options open. They're waiting to see what sort of opportunities are going to arise across the map, and well up close in the smoke there, Taco finds the head of Phelps.
Now, Nicosi, off the back of the flash, but a space to be created. Bit of info gain, nothing spotted. Dingo towards history, low HP for him. As he continues to take the fight to Taco, even though he dealt so much damage. Cannot find the kill, he can't confirm it, and the numbers come back level once again. And what's the question? You know, where does 00Nation go now? Where do they try and set themselves up? It's looking like it's going to be the B side.
That opens things up over towards B as well, leaving Luca all alone with just a FAMAS. Okay, coming away with 2 somehow. The damage on NQZ, I was going to say, gives them opportunities. Unfortunately, he cannot get any more, leaving history. I think to back away and just keep that M4 alive right now. Low health, he doesn't really have the money, but he's tempted to go in. I think knowing some damage has been done. Despite the lack of the kit, quick entry on towards Lato. It's all onto the op now. A missed shot could cost him it. 12 health, a single bullet. Time though ticking away quickly. The shoulder spotted, but it's NQZ who is quicker to the trigger. Putting a second round on the board for 00Nation, but I think it's probably a bit closer than they would have been hoping for. Either way, they'll have their chance now to go ahead and potentially take an easier round, with the economy for Fluxo being completely broken for what feels like the first time ever in this series.
Yeah, I know exactly that. And now Fluxo are in a position where they really do just have to park up. And it all comes back to that one round where they overextend and lose the pistols. Getting E-code completely changes the wind in the sail. It completely changes the sort of trajectory of the game if things were to be as expected. So it's a credit, really, to 00Nation. They've given themselves a really kind of wide berth of an opportunity to find some success here. Fluxo, they've picked in towards that CT side of Anubis, and well, so far, well, it started well. It's starting to peter out. And of course, there's going to be a low buy-in towards this one. So we're not really expecting too much. For Fluxo, in this round, a couple of kills. That'd be nice.
Oh, opening kills all going the way of 00Nation, though. Eventually a quick trade from Phelps. It's only the Mac 10, though, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. Even a kill was picked up by Taco before he went down with that Mac 10, so I think he'll be relatively happy. He'll upgrade on towards an AK now as the guns are coming back into play for Fluxo as well. So, yeah, kind of as expected on that eco. No op available this time around for Fluxo either, I don't think. Yeah, it's not going to happen. They do have an AUG, though, to give some sort of ranged capability. See exactly where that's going.
Yeah, well, now for Fluxo, I mean, this is that opportunity where we need to see them completely turn things back in their favor. Interesting as well to see that for Fluxo, across the board, opting for, you know, the M4A1Ss over the M4A4s. It seems to be kind of maybe map-specific, role-specific in some cases, but certain teams just have their preference. Fluxo, sticking with the old, not in with the new, back to the old A4s that a couple of teams have started to make that swap over to. Anyway,
A little bit cheaper as well.
Yeah, of course, right? You know, good for the economy, makes things a little bit easier. To be perfectly honest, I think generally, if you're a team setting up, I think every team should have an A1S or an AUG. I think that's the setup you should be going for, because if you have a little bit extra money, you can just pick up the AUG, and of course, it has, you know, all the bullets you need, has the similar amount of damage, and of course, actually a very similar spray pattern too. So all in all, the AUG would be a good pickup, and the A1S has that ability to spam smokes and, you know, a little bit easier, and still, of course, there's quite a lot of damage at close range.
Yeah, I think kind of the biggest thing is the fact that it just lowers that threshold for the full buy by a slight amount. And sometimes that's all you need in a desperate situation where the economy of both teams are kind of on the brink. You want to put together a buy. You have, what, 3,700. Couldn't really do it with an M4 or A4, you know, but you can with the A1S just about. Oh, spotting that mid push once again. Fluxo have been pretty willing to push up on mid. That's only a lurker, though, that has kept the eye of one player busy in towards the A bomb site, though. There's already 3 waiting. It's a massive stack from Fluxo, and 00Nation were just not expecting it. Phelps and Woody teared him apart. VSM dealing with Taco as well, leaving NQZ alone, and he's still got 2 of them waiting on this bomb site, and well, really no hope with the time that's available to him. Never mind, nice shot on history that may allow him to back away and at least save the op. That would probably be worthwhile.
Maybe, if he can, right? Think I think, oh, Phelps, that is a corker of a shot. What a shot to see things off. And hey, Fluxo back in control. Fluxo back in the driver's seat. This is now where things look all the more better. Things can start to tick over quite nicely, quite comfortably. And we can start really looking at and building up a strong CT side over towards that Fluxo, you know, start, right? They're on the opposition's map pick, on a map in which we don't have a lot of information about them either, right? So we don't really know what to expect coming towards this sort of game. And hey, so far, if they can start to, once again, you know, guarantee a lead at the half the way they did on Nuke. I mean, obviously, Nuke was a dominant display, but if we're looking on the CT side and say, if they can get sort of 9 rounds, I'd be pretty happy if I'm Fluxo.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty comfortable position. I think the T side is where they might thrive most once again, though. As they did back on Nuke, where Phelps just popped off and dropped 22 kills. Ended on 25, I think, but when he finally got those 3 kills, it was in a very crucial round on the CT side also, so just had an impressive performance all around. History pushed down towards Canals. Cold Zero was spotted as well. He's pinned in. They'll keep the op on the right side. If he goes left, Phelps should have him. And the molly, I was going to say, actually opened things up. Didn't want to risk it as the peak came in, though. Actually gets forced to fall away at this point. Sorry, it was Luca who's pushed forward with the M4 on Canals. All of the kills, though, continuing to go the way of Fluxo as they do come through with some pretty risky peaks, I would say there. Although a lone push-up mid seemed a bit wild and unnecessary for, was it NQZ?
Yeah. No, I agree. And now, of course, you know, it's left 00Nation in this sort of impossible predicament, I say. It seems, and with the bomb going down, and Molly on top of it as well, this round's already in jeopardy. Smoke on towards it, playing around it. Nukosi, brilliant from him. And Lato, all alone now. 1 versus 5. We already know. He's going to try and save. It's going to be tough, but he'll find Phelps. Looking for more as well. Going to be traded out by VSM and that AUG. He might try and upgrade to the AK if he can get there in time. No, he can't, but it doesn't matter. Everything is looking pretty damn good right about now. 5-3. A 2-round lead built up on the CT side. And most importantly, a broken economy over to 00Nation makes this a more than a possible affair where we're now looking at this and thinking, 00Nation, I mean, what is the best we can expect? Fluxo have already started to get closer and closer to guaranteeing that lead that we were sort of hoping for. 00Nation looking quite similar to how they started off Nuke.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of stumbles in there, but it was also kind of similar in the initial moments in Nuke also, where 00Nation were keeping all of the rounds scrappy and such. It was only later on when the economy really started to get out of hand, so we could see something similar happen here, especially with, well, very little in play right now from 00Nation, although this aggression again on Canals. Fluxo are kind of relentless with this. Could backfire with the pistols, but it's mostly Glocks in play, so I don't think they should have too much trouble.
Yeah, well, we said this. I mean, they did lose to pistols earlier, which kind of changed the trajectory. Yeah. But this time, luckily, right, it's a lower buy. So we're hoping. Just as long as they don't get too overconfident. That's the thing that really sold them down the river last time. They just got too overconfident, too overzealous, taking swings and peaks that they really shouldn't have. And essentially kind of forcing themselves in towards danger. For history, it's quite an aggressive position to be posted up with the AWP, but Woody's in for support as well. So he takes a pop shot, he can fall away, and Woody can then take contact. As you can see, instant reaction from him, ready to face to be able to trade out. And the AUG scoped in at this sort of range, should be a massacre. And it is. Easy stuff. Last player spotted. Taco, we dropped off. 6-3, double the rounds of 00Nation. Fluxo, looking pretty damn good right about now.
Yeah. We'll see if the momentum continues through this gun round, but the last few rounds at least have been quite effective in allowing them to build up a pretty decent economy in the reserve as well. So 00Nation need to start turning the tide here and now. A little in play for Taco, surprisingly. Wasn't expecting that with the loss bonus at this point rolling, but shouldn't be too much trouble. History, I believe, spotted that there is two players in behind that pillar, but a spam through the smoke from mid there does unfortunately shut him down. Phelps at the very least finds revenge, but not without it being costly to himself either. Luca also takes damage elsewhere. I mean, in this 4-on-4 for 00Nation rather, there's actually a decent enough position to be in. They've got a ton of time to go ahead and slow this down. They've got utility to work with as well. It's going to be Fluxo who are questioning what is happening exactly, and may have to get aggressive to find out and achieve some sort of info.
Yeah. Start double stack. Over towards B. Both playing around the pillar. It's actually a good little position. You get a little boost over, and it's actually quite difficult to clear. Of course, got to shuffle over to the left, fellas. Come on, a little bit more. Oh, no, okay. Now Lucosi will go up if they can figure... They're getting there. No, they're going to give up. You know, after 7 attempts, I'd give up too. In comes the util. Now things get dicey. Playing around pillar. Looking for the first one. Quite find it. Lucosi, slight gap in the smoke. He's hoping to try and use it in his favor. The bomb will get planted.
Yeah, I don't think he was able to actually find the angle on towards the bomb, unfortunately. Had it tried to go wider. So forced to concede it. Tough retake. I mean, they have kits, but the damage onto Luca and Phelps, it would push me towards Colin for the save, potentially, even with the money that they have. Keep it in play. Ensure that you're going to have an op that you don't have to reinvest into, an AK that you wouldn't have otherwise, an AUG, which is obviously pretty expensive as well. They'll ensure that there's plenty for a buy again afterwards if necessary, and that no matter what, they're going to be keeping the pressure on 00Nation and not allowing them to have an easy time at any point.
There we go. Save. Another round for 00Nation. Anything that this side can get, we'll absolutely take. It's just not been a strong start so far. You know, it's some pretty brutal underperformances. Cold Zera, he had a rough map number 1, and he sort of continues to have a bit of a rough map number 2 so far. But attack pause being called by Fluxo. Of course, that was a rough one to lose. Early fights coming through. Spams through smokes not going their way. When this Fluxo side lose the man advantage, you can sort of see how they get a little bit kind of tentative, a little bit testy, but they don't really know what's the next plan of action. Right now, that's the call, right? Figure this out. How are they going to find the opening kill in their favor? Once they get the numbers advantage, they're fine. Well, that's done. Round 11 about to win momentarily. 2-round lead for Fluxo. For 00Nation in a position where they're still kind of breathing down the neck. They're still an arm's reach away. But this half could still slip away in a matter of moments. That economy can be broken in, a couple of rounds' time. Consecutive rounds for Fluxo, and 00Nation are back to an eco.
Yeah, it's doable, but still a bit of work before they can manage to force that out of them. Luca, though, going to find a very quick push in towards the B bomb site. One before tucking away. Unfortunately, VSM wasn't quite as fortunate, but Luca is still putting up a pretty solid fight here on the bomb site. forced out by the molly to take another peek, still comes out alive as the smoke eventually goes down. But the patience for Cold Zero pays off. He'd been pushed in for a while, waiting for that eventual peak to come true. Both Woody and History now tucked in together towards B main, and it's going to be a rough one, to be honest. Both teams just slowing things down, waiting to spot exactly who is going to go ahead and show themselves first, and it's Woody who does so. History tucked in. They weren't expecting the second player to be so close. The molly, unfortunately, not going to do anything to actually stop that bomb plant, though, so it goes down, and again, he's going to have to hit some fantastic shots to make this retake happen. A dink onto Doomau gave me some hope, but unfortunately, no follow-up shot is landed. Shut down by that AK. It's going to be a 5th round for 00Nation. The economy now beginning to finally break down on that CT side, but they can just about scrape together another buy. As you can see, History is going to have himself an op, as well Woody. The utility maybe could be a little bit better. They don't have a kit. Luca could buy one, though, so they should have one. There we go. So yeah, no real weaknesses to this buy overall. Pretty solid, but lose this one, suddenly you're definitely looking at an Eco 00Nation. Will head towards 7 on the T side, and then things are really getting interesting.
Well, of course, for now, I gotta say for Fluxo, and of course individually, Woody, it's a case of close but no cigar. Nearly made that work in his favor. That dink, like you said, a little bit of hope coming through there. Fortunately, not good enough. Lukosi starting off the round low HP is not a dream at all. Down to 2 points of HP makes this very difficult. But of course, the most important thing is the numbers stay in favor of Fluxo. All they need to do, even though Lukosi's low on HP, as long as they play for the trade, it's fine. So just play the numbers game, play the trade game, and Fluxo should be fine here. Setup coming through, rotation coming over towards that B side. So 3 players parking upper as well. As Phelps will still jiggle peeking towards mid, he has to be the linchpin to success here because 4 players are coming his way.
I don't think he's going to want to stick around, actually. Once he finds contact, instantly dinked up to 23. As a molly, though, that could be very useful here if they can just keep things slowed down for another few seconds. Try and force 00Nation as they push into this bomb site to at least be a little bit short of time so that they're rushing their way through. Molly indeed put in. There's still plenty of time, though, and Woody's taking some risky peeks. I won't lie. NQZ, I was going to say, is hoping that would... Never mind, though. Woody is good for it. Peeks in towards it and manages to win out the fight. Success also found elsewhere from History, and suddenly it's a 5-on-2. One of the better rounds Fluxo have had themselves in quite a while, although with the damage that's been done, I wouldn't say it's for sure. And Cold Zero is turning things around. Was very quiet back on Nuke, so this is good to see.
Swinging in. Cold Zero finding one more. 2 versus 2. The bomb will get planted with just enough time to work with his VSM rotating through main. He's been held by Doomau. Low HP on towards Luca. Same can be said for Cold Zero. This is uncomfortable, but Doomau will make it work. And for Lukosi, he's out of there. He wants nothing to do with it. Safe call being made, and 00Nation will tie up this game 6-all. As he goes for a full save, and he's not even going to get remotely close to that one. I've got to say, great round once again from 00Nation. And an aggressive call in towards mid just to take contact. They're just looking to kind of show presence, not going to drop that utility, take the engagements. And with the damage they do as well in towards Phelps, it's more than enough to sort of force Fluxo away and force this side to go for a save call very early doors because they know they just can't. It all kind of linchpin kind of hinges on VSM finding a kill there if Lukosi was going to give it a go. But he started the round off at 2 points of HP and he was never going to get too overconfident. So that, all tied square, 6 apiece, and now the economy over towards that CT side is less than adequate. We'll just be a little bit of a low buy in towards this one. Of course, apart from Lukosi, he's just going to invest once again in towards armor around that AWP.
What a round, though, from Cold Zero. He really is the one that gave them some hope right there. That round had fallen apart up until Cold just hits a couple snappy kills. I mean, damage had been done, sure, but still he wasn't overwhelmed. Didn't manage to get caught out in a position at any point or anything and just kind of played it well in general. I think Fluxo maybe could have tried to work off each other a little bit more. They'll be regretting that one for sure, but with just an op and an M4 here, a few pistols, I'm not expecting tons to be found. We'll see if Luca perhaps can pull off a little bit of a mini miracle as he finds himself some contact. Don't think he realizes that a player's already closed in the distance, though, and that's Cold Zero once again, making his name known. Taco finding the aggression in towards mid as he mows down 2 headshots. And, well, this round's pretty much over and done with already. They could have taken it wherever they wanted. They'll find VSM on the B-bomb, so you may as well... B-bomb, so they may as well go there. Okay, nice shot by Woody rather. Picks up an M4. I think that's an AK though if he wants it, right? Does he not care? The M4.
Yeah, well, yeah, he'll stick with the M4.
Not wanting to make more noise, I suppose, dropping a weapon again.
True, very, very true. Question is, the saving's still going to be tough here. I think he might be... Oh, you heard this. You hear the steps on towards the beach. Is he aware? Of course he is. Dropping one. Now he's going to fall away. Even so, he'll be straight towards danger. Has Woody been heard? The Doom will hear him. A saving's impossible. It feels impossible here. He's being surrounded, but he might just about slip the net.
Yeah, looks like...
No, he'll be alright.
Shouldn't reach him. There's a player pretty close. It's close. Does he have vision? No. Couldn't tell from the radar. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, there's a little cubby there as well that he tucks himself into, but I gotta say, pretty damn close. And now look the other way. We're seeing 00Nation put up a very stable, T side over towards Anubis. But it was like I was saying earlier, generally in the earlier stages of what we've seen so far of Anubis, in kind of what it's been 3 months since it's been in the active map pool. This map has looked, generally speaking, a little bit more favorable over towards that T side. So I'm not really too overly worried about Fluxo just yet. Like I said, if they can guarantee a lead at the half, that would be amazing. Because it sets them up for, a really strong position to start, looking super, super confident and potentially even, seeing off the map and the series. But I'm not overly concerned. Fluxo, a lot of their good work as well, as we saw in towards map number 1, was on their T side. They put up, 11 rounds on their T side of Nuke, which is easier said than done. So credit to them. I'm not overly worried just yet for Fluxo. While it maybe have fallen a little bit flat right now, it's still looking okay.
Yeah, it's also a massive team effort at the moment. I think they're all between like 10 and 8 kills. So
yeah, for sure.
If they keep that up on the T side, if everyone's contributing, then they should definitely be finding success in some rounds. So I think at the very least we're gonna have a competitive map here. I wouldn't mind the map 3, but I'm not sure it's happening quite yet, so I'm on your side here. Either way, an important round. No up and play for Fluxo either. And while the nades are there, not fantastic in that regard either, so I'm wondering if we're going to see any sort of aggression. Doesn't look like they really want to take too many risks at the moment. And well, in fairness, 00Nation are just tossing down utility anyway. They've got loads, so they're clearing out areas with mollies and such, so not being too aggressive is probably a good idea. That was very close for Phelps. Contact actually going to be found though down in the canals instead. As Luca falls, coldzera again with the entry. He's been having so much success here on Anubis so far. Seems to be a map that he's taken a liking to. Unfortunately, the advantage doesn't stand for very long as Taco falls. At this point though, I was going to say Phelps doesn't want to get too hungry and stick around, so makes the jump across, takes a little bit of damage in the process. History actually extending now with an advantage being put in their favor, and well, Phelps gets taken down and, well, shuts me up real quick.
Yeah, now, 3 versus 3. Smokes coming through as well. Time's ticking. 25 seconds left to work with. 00Nation, they need to go now. They got to push through the smoke as well. It will dissipate with just enough time for that bomb to get down. And it's going to look dicey. And History in for the flank as well. Off the back of that to double. Bomb gets shot, and surely now this one cannot be salvaged. It cannot be found in their favor. Smoke will come through. They're trying to loom over, but fall to the hands of VSM. They're all tied square, 7 rounds apiece. Fluxo back in the competition. And as I said, if they can guarantee a lead at the half, that would be massive. And look at the money. Over towards 00Nation. coldzera can buy no problems. Lato is the one that struggles. And same to be said for Taco. So what's the buy going to be like for these two? Galil coming through. The question is, does Lato have anything dropped over to him? Yeah, has a Galil dropped over? So not the end of the world, but it's still not exactly a dream buy.
No, but I mean, they have the op as well, so that's a significant advantage that Fluxo don't currently have in their play, although a bit of range with the AUG at least is there, so they might still have someone appearing a little bit more aggressively in the opening moments. Either way, the main utility's there for 00Nation, and overall, they've been pretty successful on this T side. We've got to be honest, considering Fluxo also had a relatively strong start of their own, so they have certainly been able to up their level from what we got back on Nuke. Much slower showing really from both sides this time around. Waiting out that initial burst of utility from Fluxo, leaving them with very little actually as well, which is worth noting. 2 mollies, 2 smokes, that's all they've got at this point, so they are going to ideally want someone to open things up early on and alleviate some pressure. History, I'm going to say the timing here on mid, it just doesn't manage to join up for either of them to spot each other. who are both peeking it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Once again, looking over at Lukosi, a lot of info being heard by him as VSM looked like he wants to take first contact. This could be a bloodbath if all goes to plan. Still they wait, tapping away on the jiggle peaks as well, trying to find a kill, but now he has to fall away. History will line up 2, and that's the bomb as well. Surely this round falling apart at the seams, or so I say. Cold Zero and Taco combine, rolling back the years as they find yet one more, but the 4 to the hands of VSM, who looks like he wants to make it. 2 for 1. Cold Zero, 38 points of HP, back spotted as well, but it's Woody who will see it off. 8-7 at the half in favour of Fluxo. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it onto a break. We'll see you all after it. Welcome back, ladies and gents. 8-7 at the half. 00Nation's map pick, the Fluxo, lead in their favour as they now head on towards that T side. I gotta say, a pistol round here could be extremely decisive, or at least setting things up for the narrative in towards this second half and maybe the map, potentially the series.
Yeah, it really is who can find the early momentum here. Or if perhaps we get a bit more of a scrappy back and forth, which hasn't been all that present throughout this series, to be honest. We've always had a team that seems to be relatively firmly in control. Things have changed up now. A7 neck and neck, and a much slower pistol round out of Fluxo. They have a ton of utility with the couple smokes and mollies in play here to toss down on A, it looks like. They didn't want to give it away too early, so showing presence across the map, keeping that aggression at bay, and hoping to slow any sort of rotations from coming in. Fortunately, there's two heavy on the bomb site already. There's one over towards mid that's going to be able to rotate in quickly, and well, let's see what can be found long range on that USP. Taco has the advantage initially. Thinked up though, things do get a little bit harder. NQ finally showing himself, revealing that there is definitely two of them on the bomb site, but the Glocks now have closed the distance, and that's when it gets so difficult to handle. Fluxo have traded it down to the 3-on-3. Unfortunately, they've still got a dual Beretta to deal with, and everyone is already pushed up on them with no room to breathe as that bomb goes down. They just didn't have the space to form any sort of an after plant, and it's just chaos that they could not succeed in.
It was a messy, a scrappy affair. The silver lining there for Fluxo is that they get a bomb plant. That's, you know, one of those things that at least gives them some breathing room, something to work with. We'll take that. But overall, not exactly being, you know, kind of the run-of-the-mill start or the hope they were looking for. Of course, bomb plant does give them money to work with. That's what matters most. Both sides full buying in towards a second round of the half means that essentially winner of this round now nets themselves the possibility and the very strong opportunity of being the first side to lock in double digits, because it will break the back of the other. This is a really good opportunity. Nade will come through. Decent damage on towards history as well as he's dropped. And like Cody takes a tag too. This could get messy.
Ooh, the Og doing good damage, but deciding at this point, I'd imagine he doesn't want to take too many more risks, giving away his own life. Early exchange-wise, knowing that they have the favorable weapons as well, I'd say 00Nation should be pretty happy with how much they've actually dealt out. Phelps down to 31, History pretty tagged up, Luca as well. Let's see. Really, there hasn't been a ton that's happened. The smoke over towards B. I like what we're seeing overall from Fluxo, even in the pistol round. The fact that they came through with such a heavy focus on the utility for it shows that at least they have played this map and they've clearly put some time into it, which we were not sure of because there's nothing on HLTV at least. No, it's likely they've played it in some smaller tournaments and such. Nice kill by Dumo, fully blind and through the smoke, I believe. Why not?
Now set him up all right. Colzeri would have been heard there as well. But now he's close. Double swing. Very good call coming through. That space created. Numbers brought back level once again. History not opting to pick up the gun. He just walked past their History. Okay, no, he can opt for the Deagle. Now he'll collect it. Okay. I'm going to say, I thought that might have been the priority. That's the doubling back. Taco could make it messy. But VSM, again, lightning fast reactions. And now Latos to go up huge here. A double needed. And he'll find it, of course. Nearly good for 3 as well. But VSM steps up once again. AUG, outrange. Duma will do enough. The bomb. Tapped, but not stuck. It might be a priority to make sure this bomb goes down. And once again, will give them some money to work with. Now they set up all down to VSM. Needing a miracle. A masterclass here. A quad kill needed. But at that sort of range, at close range, NQZ and the MP9, we'll see that in their favor.
Taking their time on the defuse anyway. Trying to salvage whatever bits of utility were left around, I believe. And I don't think there was a ton, but a molly, a nade, a flash. Oh wait, Dumo actually has picked up another molly, so that means there is one there for retrieving. Yeah, shot across just about without the shot. Well, I don't think it would have reached, so nice little bit of teamwork, unconventional. A 9th round though for 00Nation, although I'd say it was a bit more costly than they would have hoped for now, especially with the rifles being brought out once again. Fluxo just want to keep the pressure on. They have 3 Galils, sure, but they've got 2 AKs in there as well. They've got a bit of utility to back it up so that they can form some sort of a hit towards a bomb site. Let's see, I don't know if 00Nation are going to be expecting such a heavy investment once again.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, with bomb plant and loss bonus, things are actually not looking too bad overall for Fluxo, but it's not a great start. VSM will fall already. Not a dream. Flash will catch as well. Dumal still somehow staying alive. A messy spray as he dropped the hands off Phelps, and he'll make it a double as well. That'll crack open the B site. What a double entry.
Yeah, no real rotations that were too nearby either. Coldzera is going to be the closest, and he's making his way in behind through the spawn, so nothing being done, of course, about that bomb plant, as a 4-on-3 is going to be in play. Plenty of time for the positioning as well to be put in from Fluxo, and to really just shut 00Nation out of this. either way, it doesn't look like they're really considering it in
No.
all too much seriousness. I mean, Cold Zero obviously was pushed up as he was, but NQZ hadn't really budged too much from mid, and the entire time Taco's just sitting over on the A-bomb side. So clearly they knew what they were up to. They just wanted to save these weapons. Cold Zero was maybe hoping for a kill or two that had pushed them towards it, give some hope, but yeah, the weapons are too valuable at this point. Even with the 3 of them being saved over, though, the buy would not look all that great in this next round. I'm wondering if they're going to maybe just go ahead. Cool.
Yeah, you know,
3 weapons that they've got now.
I don't blame that call. You know, when you look at this, generally speaking, most teams try to hover around having a 2K mark. You know, having $2,000 in the back pocket gives them money to work with. The only difference is with 3 people saving across, it means that they can drop. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It gives them an ability to drop over. So that's why for 00Nation, they're more than happy to reinvest, but it's at a risk as well, right? Lose this round, and once again, the floor is sort of broken from beneath them. And it'll make things very, very difficult indeed. Lato, waiting for a bit of information, waiting for a shadow, then drop a Molotov, just to try and keep them at bay. Needs to be careful it doesn't cost his life, though, because VSN is pretty close. There we go. Arm spotted. Couple of taps coming through, and that's it. Smoke will be dropped, and I'll deny a lot of that presence.
Yeah, it was definitely a risky way to play it, but times it well. Didn't overstep his shoulder. Duma with the opening kill through the smoke there. Not too sure exactly where that came in. I believe it was over towards mid, perhaps? Was it? No, sorry, it was actually there on long itself. My bad. Didn't manage to spot him picking that one up. I was watching Lato instead. Either way, the smokes do eventually start coming down on this B-bomb site. Molly to try and cut off the angle from canals, and well, actually a pretty solid crossfire if Lato doesn't overextend right now. And it's a very, very slow push from Fluxo. They're given time for this rotation to come in.
Well, already for Phelps, for one. On towards Lato, numbers broad even, but Dumal sits in close. And NQZ as well, trying to be a nuisance, playing around that smoke as it dissipates. This can get messy, as History and the AK will step up. Now, of course, the smoke will deny a lot of that presence, but Dumal makes it one more. And that's an important kill. Staying alive is all that matters, because it buys time for the rotation to come in. Woody will get the bomb down. Is he expecting the flank to come through? It's a 1 versus 2. But Woody, his life, it's a cannon fodder situation, but it's for information. That's all that matters. Lukozi's up in the post barn, which is all that matters most, and he's going to struggle to cross, and Molotov could keep him at bay, and Lukozi will have to reposition off the back of it. Time is ticking, but it's such an open plant, and MP9 at range tapping. Oh my gosh, Lukozi, that's risky. But now surely he'll be fine from here. Tap onto it. Full blind as well for Taco. No kit. Oh, it does have a kit, may I say, but no time. And that's it.
Yeah, might have actually had the opportunity there if he had stuck it initially, because Luca didn't re-peek once he tapped the bomb, but I think that was because he probably didn't even hear it because the flash was popping at that point. So a little bit unfortunate. Might have had the chance if he just stuck it. Either way, it was a nice attempt. It was just a very difficult situation no matter what way you played it right there for Taco. A 10-9 scoreline now. Favor of Fluxo as they managed to find themselves a little bit here again going on T side, and well, with that, I've finally broken down the economy completely of 00Nation. They've got a single Deagle being upgraded here for Taco. There's a Zeus actually for Duma as well. Interesting purchase. Where's he going to be putting that? Over towards B, up close towards Canals, I believe. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. They've been very aggressive around this area, so there's a good chance they might come over and you can catch one, steal away a weapon. Suddenly you have an AK that perhaps could get some sort of a miracle work.
Oof. Didn't coming through. Maybe could have been costed another one as well, but overall, the fact they're not finding kills is what matters most. Maybe a couple of consolations would be nice here, but not to be anymore. Of course, all that's left down is Dumal has a pistol, and of course a Zeus. I don't think he'll get much use out of it though. Fluxo, the first had to double digits, and now of course wanting and looking to extend that lead further and further, take the map, and of course then the series in their favor, and then they'd meet the winner of course the other game going on currently, which is 9Z versus Oplano. And that first map has just finished. It was 22-19 in favor of 9Z. So they've taken map number 1. So at the moment, it's looking like they're the favorites to be facing off against Fluxo, may I say, if they are able to see off this map and the series. Dumal find one, AK collected. And he actually will save it and get another one. So actually put that battle around. What he does for?
Nope, won't save it. But yeah, another kill, a little bit of damage at least being done. It's more than I was expecting at that point, honestly. Didn't have a chance to use a Zeus, though, which is always disappointing. But overall, considering what they went into that round with, it was successful. Now they're going to be coming in with a pretty solid buy as well. Utilities there, the backbone to the buy is pretty solid, although I think they will be lacking a kit, which could come back to bite them if they need to retake at any point, but I don't think it's going to be too detrimental. Let's see. 11-9. If Fluxo win out this gun round, then things could start to get a little bit out of control. So we need to see a change in pace for 00Nation. I think they're going to try and boost up above the smoke. I was going to say the op initially watching it did look away. Instead, it's players up close who might have the spot. Phelps, he's been so successful in these early moments. Can he manage to at least get the trades here? As no, Dumao, opening kill, manages to fade away as well alongside Lato. Although not completely unscathed. They did take a ton of damage.
Let's make it rough. Already Phelps trying to make a difference here, but Lukosi will fall. Phelps can trade. There we go. This is the guy we look towards in terms of making a difference. Flash will catch, turns from it, and one crossing as well. Oh my god. That's risky. They don't expect VSM. Quick trades. It's Lato. Keep the numbers in favor of the CT side. And he's just beckoning over for support. He's hoping that they get there in time. It might cost his life, but he'll find yet one more reload on it. And the pistol at close range. It won't be enough. History can't quite see enough. Orb scooped up. That's a double digits 10th round collected by 00Nation. A messy and a scrappy affair. But they find it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, keeping themselves in the run, and really, if that one didn't work out, they would have been looking at potentially another eco, and things would have been for struggle. Instead, now the economy is just about good enough for a buy to actually be scraped together here for Fluxo. So if 00Nation get themselves a second round here, it's an eco. They start to get a lead going again, and at that point, Ancient begins to look relatively likely as a third map. This series, okay, Dumao is not afraid of this aggression, showing it round time and time again, really. Finding the head of Phelps, who fortunately had been one of the more successful players so far for Fluxo as well in terms of entry and on this T side, so it's a big loss in the early stages of the round. Coldzera, though, hoping to extend that advantage even further for 00Nation, and Luca just completely unaware. He should be told that that's a possibility with the deep smoke pushed up there on History. Why is that not called? Or did he just not listen? Did he presume that the aggression wasn't in? It seemed to me like it might have been a bit of miscommunication.
Oh, Coldzera, Taco. I mean, this has been an absolute massacre, but a really bad round from Fluxo. Like you said, I think the comms seem to be a complete mess because there's so many gaps in the armor that are starting to open up. It's a flawless round, in fact, for 00Nation. What is happening over towards that Fluxo side? The T side, generally speaking, a little bit more favorable over towards, this map from what we've seen so far. But right now, I think Fluxo are looking very discombobulated. They're struggling to put consistency on the board. This is not what we want to be seeing right now. This is really looking quite rough because it was, set up for Fluxo being on the road to seeing off the map, seeing off the series. Now things are looking a little bit on edge where 00Nation could force us to a decider.
Yeah, Dumao again with his standard peek towards Canals. Dropping a nade. Okay, actually gets the kill on VSM. Boosto above the mid-smoke, catching Coldzera unaware, but he still gets away with both of the kills because why the hell wouldn't he? He's Coldzera, they're up against pistols, but yeah, he probably should have been dead there. Even gifted the bomb. It's like Christmas. Luca, nearly getting spammed down through the smoke, but last man standing, I mean, at best he's hoping to come away with a kill here. Even then, that's not going to do a ton of damage to what is already a somewhat solid CT side economy, and well, honestly, now is kind of getting out of control. They've got to repurchase a little bit of utility, but overall, they're going to be hanging on to most of what they've got there with an opportunity if they can win out this gun round to, well, start running away with both their economy and the scoreline.
No, exactly. I mean, this is a really good setup right now, but like I said, it's sort of a bit of a capitulation the other way. Question marks at the start being asked over towards Fluxo. What is happening there? Well, full buy out. Now we get to have a little look in. Lukosi going in towards a Krieg. Now that's something I haven't seen in a while. The SG coming out. It's not often. Woody in the open. And oh my god, Coldzera didn't even clear that. Messy, scrappy fight. And a lot of damage done on towards that Krieg as he's left at already 9 points of HP. Their numbers remain the same, but the HP doesn't.
Phelps got dinked through the edge of the smoke there by Dumao as well, and History, I don't think is gonna, I don't think he's gonna find success as the smoke fades, but never mind, somehow gets the drop on Dumao and Taco. What the hell is this from history? Going absolutely nutty and just single-handedly, I think, keeping Fluxo in with a shot at keeping themselves in this game. This is crazy. How the hell has he done this? Lato's left alone. Sure, there's a lot of damage done, so in theory, he could have his own shot at pulling off a little bit of a miracle play, especially as the kill now comes true on towards History, who'd been the hero of the round. But I don't know if he's even going to be giving this retake a go, honestly, with the position that they're in with his own economy, with his own health, rather. He's on 46. He has some utility there. If he saves, then they're all likely to have nearly enough for another buy again afterwards, giving them quite a bit of security. But he's also willing to maybe try and see if there was an exit or two, recovering the op in the process, and just coming out with the maximum that they can here.
I gotta say, you know, for 00Nation, generally they've had, you know, maybe a couple of missing factors. NQZ's really struggling to have impact. They're kind of their primary AWPer, the guy we're looking to kind of really step up the plate, not having the impact. But Cold Zero, who was very quiet in map number 1, filling those boots. Of course, Lato continued to have a very solid performance despite the rest of the team around him, maybe not so much. So, all in all, you can see this magic in this 00Nation side. It's just consistency is where they lack, right? It's just having that kind of consecutive rounds on the board to build up momentum and, of course, most importantly, economy, where things do struggle just the top of History. Really saving Fluxo there from around. That looked lost, and I think if they lost that, potentially, this map could have been a complete jeopardy. Now the race is still on.
Yeah, that was nuts. Almost out of nowhere as well. 2 of his teammates on low health. It seemed like maybe he was frustrated and was like, screw this, I'll do it on my own then. Either way, the aggression up towards a main from Taco. Close on the smoke there. It's VSM, though, taking peeks in the meantime in towards B, just completely unprompted. It didn't have a flash, didn't put down any sort of utility, just hoping that he was going to be able to, I guess, out-aim and outpace someone at that point, but it doesn't work. VSM shut down an advantage early on for 00Nation in what is a very important gun round here for both of these teams. The economy for Fluxo, I mean, a few players might be able to scrape together a buy, but overall they would be looking at an eco if things go south here.
Yeah, things looking pretty good right now. Not too shabby. Taco doubling back for support. Will be caught by the flash. Space being created as Woody playing entry. The Molotov, he'll run in front of it. They haven't cleared him. Oh my god, and nearly gets a freebie. Molotov will force Taco in towards the open. He's dropped to the hand to Lukosi. Numbers brought level, but time is ticking. 45 seconds. And do they clear the close position? No, they don't. Bomb goes down, but it can't be made in towards a double. Once again, 3 versus 3. Numbers level as the bomb goes down and a post plant set up. But what can be found from here? As Lato takes first contact and will find the first kill on towards History. Post-spawn set up strong. It's all down to one man. Phelps can't see it off. A legend of the game, but not today. 00Nation take a lead, and a small one in their favor.
Yeah, again, just not really able to get themselves backed up and into positions for that after plant, because already 00Nation are already so close coming in through connector, holding the fallback over towards main and such. So it's not ideal. They're never getting a solid after plant, even when they do actually get the bomb down over towards that A bomb site. And I was gonna say the economy's a little bit shabby, but after getting the bomb plant, it's honestly not too bad. They actually have pretty solid investment here. Sure, there's 2 Galils in play, but they've got enough. They've got 2 AKs as well. Fluxo are definitely able to keep the pressure on and be in with a shot of potentially still coming back and winning out this round, and with that, keeping the dream alive. If this one doesn't work, then that's when really you begin to worry for them.
Yeah, I mean, this sort of feels already like the bit of the do or die round, right? They don't find this. 00Nation find 14, but of course it breaks the economy, which maybe means 15 as well. This is essentially 00Nation playing for map point, which could be pushing us towards at the side. A flash will come over the corner, but Phelps will find the first quick trade. Dumal getting out of dodge, but a lot of damage done towards him as Cold Zero will step up to save him. He's desperately staying alive, and he'll just about do so. Smoke dissipates the Molotov, but Dumal going to sit beside it. Oh my god, this is so risky.
Just falling back though through canals. Fluxo not really wanting anything more to do with that B bomb site after running into what seemed like a little bit of a brick wall in Dumal and Cold Zero. Both having a very successful game here so far. And we're actually seeing the response with the aggression out through B as well. So 00Nation should know what's going on at this point. Unless they're all grouped in canals waiting, then it's got to be this A bomb site. And that means that Taco, at least alongside NQZ, are going to have a bit of a warning. flash a HE. There's not much in terms of stopping them. No mollies. That is one positive for Fluxo, but they're going to need to hit some quick shots with the damage that's been done to them already. Here we go, creeping forward. History's the first one to find contact against Taco. The M4 though reigns supreme and, well, does so again as the contact of the op also shines through from NQZ. It's a swift round really from 00Nation. The economy completely broken now for Fluxo. They've got to take an eco and fight for the overtime most likely.
Yeah, and
This is looking like a 3-mapper.
I think you're right, mate. I think this is looking like Ancients on the cards. 00Nation, they've just done enough. It's been extremely close, but just about enough. On towards that CT side to warrant them now in a really strong position. I mean, Fluxo, this feels rough. Nothing seems to be working on their T side. And we're looking at this side and I'm thinking, have they got anything left in the tank, or are we going to go in towards Ancient? Essentially, a best of one to the side who remains in that upper bracket. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one. It's a low buy for Fluxo to find success here, and it looks like they want to pop towards B.
Yeah, I mean, the half investment, the Tech 9s, this is how you make these sorts of buys work. I'm completely behind it, especially with Lato being pretty aggressive. I was going to say, if they swarm him fast, then the trade could have came through. A weapon maybe could have been stolen. Unfortunately, it's an individual peak initially. Phelps is going to get a kill elsewhere as well, extending that advantage. And by the time they swarm out through the smoke, Dumo had kind of caught the perfect timing to emerge from that pillar. Completely unscathed by the flash that would have blinded him otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, great work. Fluxo only one player left standing. It's Luca on his own. They didn't really deal out any damage. We weren't expecting tons from the half buy, even if we had a bit of hope maybe that things could go well. It's all about this next gun round, and well, probably the 2 gun rounds following that as well, because the economy's in a fantastic position for 00Nation. So even if they do end up losing one, they'll still have plenty to buy and potentially could do so for another round afterwards again. So it's going to be a tough comeback if it's to happen.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I think it's safe to say that now the confidence and the odds, they're leaning one way, leaning over towards Ancient being on the cards. I gotta say, I mean, credit to 00Nation. They have really stepped up. When we kind of thought there was nothing left in the tank game, when we were kind of questioning a couple of individuals, I mean, Coldzera is one, right? He really had a bad map one, and we were thinking, maybe this is just a day off from him. He's found that form in towards Anubis. And Taco stepping up as well, dropping Woody. There's the opening kill. I think we're on the last legs here, Dean.
Yeah, looks like the 3rd map is going to be potentially necessary, although we'll give them a moment because Coldzera could, I was going to say, be overwhelmed here with a bit of presence being shown on mid. Never mind, gets smoked off, decides to just spam before it goes ahead and blooms, and mows down 2 players. Suddenly Luca and VSR are all that remain. Make that just Luca at this point, as things have completely fallen apart. It's going to be a 3rd map indeed necessary, which is a bit of a surprise after how kind of one-sided the first map had been, after how good it was initially looking for Fluxo as well, but they slowed down. We ended up seeing the first half going A7, I believe, and well, suddenly we had a game on our hand, and that continued throughout really until that last kind of stretch of rounds that were snatched away by 00Nation.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta say, a really solid performance, right? We looked at that 00Nation side at the first